Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Reviewing Your Pokemon series. On this episode, we're going over quite the interesting Pikachu. This was actually not sent in to me, but I saw it in a Discord posting by Jazzthatshiny. Shout out to Jazz for letting me use this. I actually saw this Pikachu and this dilemma and thought, man, this is actually quite the interesting thing. There's some interesting stuff to talk about here that I'd like to discuss. So I asked permission to make a video without her sending it in, but I got here the Pikachu, the Halloween hat Pikachu, and she actually showed me two of them. Interestingly enough, one with helping bonus, helping speed M, speed of help of nature, ingredient finding down. Now, if you know anything about my account, this is very similar to one of my Raichus. And I get a lot of usage out of it, especially with the ABB list. I find that making the ginger there is quite interesting. However, that's not really a consideration with the ingredient finding down in the nature here. But overall, helping bonus, help speed M, speed of help of nature, very powerful combination that Jazz has here. However, she also has a berry finding S, Pikachu, Halloween hat Pikachu. And typically, the Halloween hat Pikachus are used for the case of overstacking on a Raikou team, which, when you have a lot of speed, typically we say not really worth it on a Raikou team because you're not worrying about the speed they're producing this week. You're worried about overstacking berries for the next week. So the question just kind of comes down to which Pikachu is better, I guess. Would you consider investing in it? Because it's Halloween's not for another year, so Jazz likely doesn't have the opportunity to catch another Halloween hat Pika. So which would be better for usage on a Raikou overstacking team? The answer seems obvious, but I wanted to discuss it because I thought, maybe I think that there's some potential here. And the things that stuck out to me were, one, this Halloween hat Pikachu has ingredient finding up in the nature. Additionally, it has ingredient finding S. Now, normally, I don't speak too ill of ingredient finding on berry specialists. I think it's something that a lot of people get concerned about, overly concerned about, when it comes to a berry specialist. However, in the case of overstacking, it actually can be a very big detriment, because when you're looking to overstack, you really just want berries. And something very interesting, this one doesn't have any ingredient finding in the sub-skills, and it has ingredient finding down. So I was like, additionally with the helping bonus on the first one, that helping bonus is going to help Raikou to proc his skill more. And this one also doesn't have that much ingredient finding, so it's going to be finding more berry procs, even though it's going to be finding less berries per proc than this one's going to be finding, especially at level 50. So I wanted to make that comparison at level 50 when this one gets that ingredient finding S, just to see, does this helping bonus one actually stand a chance without the berry finding S? I didn't know what I was going to find, because it was just a hypothesis of maybe there might be some grounds to stand on. And that's the point of this video. Now, I threw together 6 teams. I used the shiny, or not the shiny, the Raichu that Jazz sent me, showing me what her Raichu is, and her Ampharos for this overstacking team, because that's the electric types that she had. I also threw on my Gardevoir, my personal Gardevoir. You'll probably recognize this one. I use it a lot, just because I didn't have access to their Energy for Everyone Healer stats. And I used the base Raikou for this evaluation because I don't know what Raikou they have, or if they even have one at the current moment. But I used the base Raikou for where it'd be at level 50. Everything's roughly at a level 50 for this evaluation. And basically, I just pulled down their stats and added together by hand the berry value on just the skill portion of these Pokemon's output per day, because the skill portion will tell you how much they're producing in berries for a day of overstacking. So you can use that number to evaluate. Now, for the Pokemon that Jazz already has, of the full electric team, which, by the way, I gotta say, that is a pristine Ampharos. And shiny, nonetheless. I didn't mention that, but shiny Ampharos is gorgeous. Just look at the stats. I'm not going to talk through them, but look at them if you're interested in knowing what I mean by that. But anyway, first team, with the Berry Finding S Halloween Hat Pika, we're looking at 10,145.88 berry strength per day. from overstacking. And the second one, looking at 9,776.29 per day, does not look well for our little help bonus hat chew. But I was like, this isn't the best evaluation though, because a part of what is making the hat chew possibly do better than this berry chew, or possibly do better than the other one with berry fighting S, is because it's making Raikou proc more. And one of the Pokemon that we're putting on this overstacking team is a skill specialist without berry finding S. So that is like tremendously harming it, because yeah, they're going to do better, but this guy isn't going to be taking advantage of that full proc from Raikou, or the extra procs that the helping bonus one can offer. So I was like, okay, what if Jazz catches just a basic berry finding S Pikachu, and we use that for comparison? Well, I made both of these teams as well, and after checking the numbers on it, 13,027, this is with the berry finding S, this is with the help bonus one, 12,794.78. Also not looking the best for our little Halloween hat guy. Now, if you divide these numbers out, it is like a difference of anywhere from like 1 to 4% difference. So very minor difference, something that you wouldn't expect when the other one's getting literally 50% more berries. 50% more berries is such a big number compared to 4% difference, but it's interesting to see. Now, granted, that's in terms of total team evaluation, so a lot of that just comes from things averaging out, but it's just bizarre and interesting to talk about. But then I thought one more circumstance. Let's say you want to overstack into the holiday event. Let's say you have a wall rain. Now, I gave this the best possible circumstance. Wall rain with ingredient finding down, with berry finding S. That's going to be the best circumstance for possible overstacking purposes, especially for an event that we know has a fixed berry. Let's say you want to force a berry type. You could then put this last one as anything of your choice, of whatever berry type you are assuming is going to be the berry type for the next week that you're trying to overstack for. And then just using 3 Pokemon to boost the Raikou's skill. In this circumstance, the berry finding S Pikachu with the hat comes to 18,241.09. But the help bonus one comes to 18,349.87. This is a circumstance where the help bonus one actually outperforms the berry finding one compared to the other one. But this is a pretty niche circumstance. I know I've used it in this way before to overstack a berry specialist that I know is going to have favored berry the next week. It's something that you can do for a lot of the event weeks that have forced berry type. Especially if you know you're going to a certain island, you can plan around what island that is, and make sure that last one is always a favored berry specialist that can really take advantage of the overstacking mechanics. Because oftentimes just having 3 is enough, because there's a little bit of a cutoff in how much value is gained by another electric type from 3 to 4. So it's like +1, +2, +1, +2. So the difference between 3 and 4 species isn't that insane. So this is totally reasonable to do. And it may be the case if that is what Jazz has in her box to aid this Halloween hat Pikachu. Do I think that either of them are worth investment? Once again, it depends on what other electric types are in your box. If you have just a basic Pikachu that has berry finding S, help bonus, or berry finding S, and doesn't have this much ingredient finding, then that's probably going to serve you better for the purposes of overstacking in this Halloween hat Pika, because really the only circumstance where the help bonus one outperforms this ingredient finding Halloween hat Pika is when you have 2 other Pokemon on the team that aren't electric types. So if you're trying to make a full electric team, then the berry finding S one's probably going to do better for most circumstances, if you're trying to overstack with that full electric team. As for the value of help bonus compared to the berry finding S, it may do better. It just kind of depends on how you're trying to plan your... Like, meals can make a big impact on that. But overall, there's other math that would go behind that, and I didn't do that math for this video because the question was about overstacking, so that's what I focused on here. I hope I've given you enough thought to process and opened up a little bit more of some interesting discussion focused around the concept of help bonus. If you have enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I always in these videos include in the description the form for you to fill out should you want to submit one of your Pokemon for me to evaluate. And I'd love to do so, so I can't keep the series running if I don't have submissions. Anyway, I do always thank you guys for watching and hope that you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye now.